Have you ever wondered if the things you're doing as a leader are actually effective or not? Maybe you're making a whole bunch of actions and you're not sure if they're impacting the people that you're leading the way that you intend. Or maybe you can actually see that they're not impacting the way that you had planned. Do you have trouble connecting with your team or with your followers? Do you have trouble just connecting with people and relationships in general? If so, then this video series is for you. Welcome to Develop You, where we turn strategy into transformation. In this video series, I'm going to cover 3 powerhouse techniques that are going to propel you into excellence. First is going to be effective communication. Effective communication is talked about a lot, but how much do we actually know about what it means to be an effective communicator? A lot of people are saying, oh, well, just make good eye contact and make sure that you nod your head when people are talking and just have a conversation, just conversational etiquette, right? But what a lot of people don't realize is it's more than just body language. Communication comes in the form of verbal, like what I'm doing right now, body language, facial expressions, right? And even written communication. These are all forms of communication. And if we don't master these as individuals, then we'll have a hard time leading others, especially when it comes to the verbal and nonverbal communication. One thing that you can really do to improve your communication is to practice active listening. A lot of people don't really understand what that means. They're like, oh, I listen. I listen to people. If you interrupt people in the middle of a conversation, say you feel like they're dialoguing for too long, and you really got to get your point across, and you interrupt them and say, well, this is what I got to say. You're not active listening. You're not practicing that. When you're communicating with people, if you don't take the time to fully grasp everything they're saying in the way that they communicate and, just regulating yourself in the way that you communicate, you are not really paying attention to everything that they're trying to say. Maybe somebody likes to lay down a whole bunch of evidence prior to getting to the point. And maybe that bothers you. Maybe you're just like, just get to the point. Maybe you're that kind of person. And it's okay if you're that kind of person. I'm not dogging on that. I'm just saying you've got to think about how your interruptions make other people feel. When you interrupt them, even if what you have to say is so important, you are telling that other person that everything that they're saying right now just doesn't matter. That everything that they have to say, their viewpoint, their way of looking at things is wrong, and that they should just stop. That's what an interruption truly tells people. And I struggle interrupting. It's a lot of times involuntary. It starts to come out of your mouth. I have to regulate myself and zip my lip. It's hard. I get it. I get how hard it can be. But if we don't intentionally regulate ourselves, we are disrespecting other people. And that's not going to help us communicate at all. We have to be able to open dialogue with other people. And that means understanding that they have a different way of communicating than what I have. Regulating myself and being a bigger person so that we can communicate effectively, so that we're not just yelling into the wind, but we're actually receiving each other's message. Something that's important for us to remember as leaders is there are certain things we can do because we're leaders, certain things we must do because we're leaders, and certain things we just cannot do because we're leaders. And in this context, interrupting people is one of the things we absolutely cannot do if we're going to be considered leaders. It's really important to practice this active listening, to capture what people are saying. If you have to, get a notebook, write down what they're saying, set it off to the side. That way you can bring up those points later, and if they're like, what are you doing? Maybe you're just not the kind of person who can mentally capture every point that they're trying to make, especially if it's somebody who dialogues for a long time. Take the time to write it down. That way you're not disrespecting them by interrupting them, but you're also able to address the points and not forget what your point of view is, where your opinion lies. It's important that your voice is heard, but it's also important that you are truly hearing out the other person. You're truly listening to what they have to say, not just waiting for that moment for where you hear a trigger word where you can just disagree or say, well, that counteracts my point, or, well, this is where my point fits into this picture. Practice your active listening, and I promise you, things will get better for you and for the people around you. They'll feel like they can trust you more. They'll feel like they can come to you when they have questions, or they can come to you when something's maybe not quite how it should be. They know that you're approachable. This is where effective communication makes you an effective leader, because it makes you approachable and it builds trust with people. And trust is absolutely the most important part of leadership. If you do not have trust, you do not have credibility, and you do not influence. You cannot influence others if they do not trust you. If you're liking this video so far, please go ahead and comment, subscribe, like the video. If you don't agree with me and the point that I brought out, it's okay. Comment down below. I'd love to hear your viewpoint. When we have open dialogue, that's where we can learn from each other, and we can ultimately grow into being better people and better leaders. Stay tuned for the next video in which I will cover adaptability. Thank you for watching Develop You.